We are not simple, and we cannot be a soft target. Very difficult. Because of what? We are a world oldest among nationalities, world oldest nationality. Believe me, you and me, we are actually international oldest nationalities. We cannot, nobody will just kick us around, no. And because of that, we actually volunteer, get ourselves together, formulate the ideas against us, and spell out what we can answer, so that we tell the world the true one is this, it is not this. So we told them that it's not us, it is people persuading you to take over South Sudan, who are the guilty. These are the rebellious people, and these are the people who are making it hard. They don't want to accept what their mistakes. They don't do it. Now, while we are accepting that, we got involved in war for a purpose of supporting our government and our independence and the flag, which was actually was about to be thrown away by Bashir. We supported it because we belong to it. And that is what we did. And those who went to seek, went back to the people we fought for 50 years, wanted to come back with the old flag to replace us? No. We said no. And we can say no to everybody's face. You see? This is what I have to say. I'm not angry, but the misunderstanding or deliberate pushing the problem by politicians who are hard to convince is the problem. AJOU is one of them in the leadership of SPLM, SPLA, who are very difficult to convince, very difficult to accept their mistakes. That is our problem now. Now that they are in the unity government of unity, are we there? None of us is even advisor to the government. But they are there. And they are very difficult to come back to sense and say, look, we made so and so mistake, we have to correct it. They are resisting reconciliation, healing, and forgiveness. It is not we. We have no reason to, have nothing to say. So, AJOU now is not talking to anybody except the Denka. My friend, this thing is to be dropped. Is to be dropped. Because the Jinn themselves, they have a territory of our own. Before British, we are living alone. They are not going to accept that, except the leaders who mess up the South must accept their mistakes. Thank you.
Clinton, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, yeah, before you come, I would like to, you want to mute your mic? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. ALDO, and both of you, Professor NYABA. It is actually a privilege and honors once again to have you with us in this podium, just like that, without even planned. To be quite honest with you, both of you, it was 2 days ago when Dr. NYABA was asked the same question. He said that I don't operate on ethnic lines, and the same thing now said by Dr. ALDO. It's quite amazing as a coincidence. We have like a few questions, and we would like to keep it. I know Dr. NYABA will give it more in a moment to in Dr. ALDO remarks, if no minds. But I have a question from Brother NYABA calls, if you can make it very brief to you, and then from there you can take the podium. And at the meantime, Clinton, do you have anything to say, please?
No, right now I have nothing to say, but if I want to be clear and frank, what I want to say is I have uncle or grandfather, Dr. ALDO AJOU, as a member of the Council of Elders. And we have Uncle Peter NYABA, okay, as a professor and maybe an opposition. We need someone from Equatoria to represent Equatorians or those separatists to come to also because this is a national platform and we need to solve our problems. I think nobody can come out outside either from US or Europe or Middle East or Asia to come and solve our problems. It's we South Sudanese to join our hands together, contribute our ideas, and change and solve our problems as one people, one nation, one love, one South Sudan. This is my the platform that I want to say.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Clinton. Dr. Aldo and Professor NYABA. Clinton is a young man based in Libya. He came about a week ago and he signed up in Clubhouse, and he was quite surprised quite surprised on the ethnic prejudice and hate speech among South Sudanese. As a result, he came up and opened a room, and now we're here. Clinton, what I want to tell you, Dr. Aldo and Professor NYABA, these two gentlemen are uncles and are fathers and friends. Both of them, there are others of their educations that inspire someone like me and you to pursue further educations. When they speak comprehensively. You don't have to be directed. And if someone is from Victoria and wants to ask a question, he's more than welcome to do so. You see? So as a result, I'm going to make it very brief here. Brother Nyaba is going to go ahead with the question to Professor Nyaba to take the podium to respond to Dr. Aldo, and then from there we'll give back the mic back to Aldo, and then we'll give open the floor for the questions. And we have about like 4 questions. That's all. Thank you.
Excuse me, before we start, let us bring some people from different ethnic groups because if we do it like this, it means that we dominated the other communities which are part of us. We are South Sudanese. We are all brothers. Let's preach love, not hatred or denominations. And this is what, according to my observation, as Brother Achilio or Uncle Achilio introduced me, I'm just a newcomer in Clubhouse, and as I came to Clubhouse, I found many people, many groups, any community forming a room, okay, pushing hatred. Any room, I found Dinka's room abusing Equatorian, abusing what, any community opening room and abusing each other. So this is what I'm about to address because we are all South Sudanese. Whenever I hate anyone, it doesn't make sense, okay? And that's why I came up with these ideas of bringing some such a topics that bring us together. So,
Yeah, you're right, Clinton. You're right, Clinton. If there is anyone from Victoria regions like Clement, I seen Clement downstairs there. You want people that are vocal. You don't go and say to people who don't speak out. I seen Brother Clemens down there. If you want to come up, Brother Clemens, if you have a question to Nyaba and Aldo, you'll be more than welcome to do so. And I'm browsing right here. I don't see anyone else. And I seen Simon Hui as well. He's a member of the last movement of Thomas Cyril. If you want to come up, you're more than welcome to do so. There's no problem.
Just wait. Let us come up as South Sudanese because we got a very important people here with us. So we need to come together as South Sudanese and find out our solutions. This is what we need. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, Clinton. What I just want to interject because we're moderating together sometimes. I don't like the idea of calling this person from a different tribe or region.
Yeah, that's what I said.
To drag this our brothers into the line of that ideology of representing the tribe. The idea they know themselves,
and they can talk, and that's what I can entertain. Because Rebecca is here. Clinton, remember when we opened this room, we've been here for 8 hours. We were talking as Sudanese. So whoever want to ask a question, you can ask a question as an individual instead of just coming and giving them a headache. But the tribal line, they're not here. I don't think they can complete all our answers today. There will be tomorrow. So why don't we just give them a time and they can respond back. We learn from their process. I think Professor Adwok is a member of the government, the current government now, according to what I heard. Then we can learn from them what is their position exactly instead of just try to give them hard time. That's what I'm trying to get for.
I think not that
Okay, thank
the fact that ALDO and Professor NYABA came up with the development of the technology, be the clubhouse, and they are here with us, even their age, is something that we need to appreciate. So if anyone from South Sudan, this is coincidence, we invite ALDO and Dr. Nyaba to be with us today. They just pop up and we give them opportunity. So next time we want to plan things, we can be diverse in a sense. But right now, this, if you don't mind, I know what are you coming from with this, because you are quite sensitive and you knew this, as Dane said. So please let us give Professor Nyaba a mic before Miracle asks his questions. Miracle, you want to activate your mic, please.
Thank you, Brother Chido. Thank you, all the moderators and the listeners, and my boss, two favorite, doctors, Dr. ALDO AJOU and Dr. Peter Adwok. I am really very glad that Dr. Peter Adwok came back and Dr. ALDO AJOU is here with us, and they touched on very important problem that actually been circling around in the clubhouse, which is actually that I always wanted to ask. And Dr. ALDO AJOU has elaborated on that very much, and that was a misleading and misinformed, and that was a divisive information that was circling around that JN and JCE are the problem of South Sudan. My question to Dr. Adwok is this. Do you believe that the problem of South Sudan, it was actually the problem that happened within the leadership of the SPLM in 2013? Or do you believe that it was the Jain Council of Elders who are the problem of South Sudan? Number two, Dr. Adwok, don't you believe that the people of the SPLM, the leadership of the SPLM, they don't like to be criticized by the people, and they don't like to be told that you guys had made a mistake? As Dr. ALDO AJOU have said it clearly, that the people of the leadership of the SPLM, they were the problem, and they did not even apologize to the people of South Sudan. In 1991, the same people who killed the Dinka and killed and displaced our people and came to Khartoum and unified themselves with the government that actually was displacing our people, in particular in Upper Nile, in the oil area, are the same people who caused the problem again in 2013. Don't you believe that? Peter Adwok, I am quite confused. I don't know, are you actually in the AJOU or are you in the government? That's my question to you, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Miracle. And now we will yield mic back to Professor Nyaba to recap on your questions and the remark of ALDO. Professor Nyaba, with respect to you, and I said it before, it is honor and privilege to share the podium with you. Please activate your mic. Professor NYABA, are you there? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, the floor is yours, Professor.
Your questions? Yes, thank you very much. And I want also to thank Dr. Aldo for his contribution. It's good, you know, when issues pop up like this and people discuss them, it is actually part of the solution to the problem. But always what is important is that we should really know the facts. We should not depend on hearsay or rumors, but let us look at the facts as they occur. I say yes, the problems of South Sudan are, many of them are linked to the SPLM and the War of National Liberation. In that, the SPLM, SPLA did not organize in a manner that would really resolve the problems that were there. Usually, when you in a situation of war, you make an analysis, situation analysis of what were the real problems in the country. And of course, out of that, now you will present your program as to how to resolve these problems. This was not the case in the SPLM. Later, some of us in our writings, if you people, you will come and you will find that the most fundamental thing which concerned the leadership of the SPLM was power, not really liberation. Because if you see what happened in 1983, we had forces already opposed to the Nimeri regime. We had the Anyanya II. Okay? But because Anyanya II was calling for suppression of South Sudan, from the Ethiopians, they were already there in Western Ethiopia, but they did not get the support they needed. Until when the SPLM came with the program of Socialist United Sudan, and it got the support it needed. Unfortunately, the SPLM did not organize politically because now it was military and political at the same time, which is in fact a source of contradiction. If you look at it, you cannot be a politician and a military man at the same time, because the politician, you have to discuss, it is politics, you discuss and debate issues, while in the military, you only follow orders and commands and in instantaneous obedience to these orders. So this created the kind of contradiction, and it became difficult later even to separate the two into their professional organizations. Because as I said, sometimes in my writing, that they grew up with the SPLM and SPLA grew up like Siamese twins conjoined in the head. That to separate them into their professional demands would result in their mutual death. And this is what has actually happened now. There is no SPLM now, really centrist. And as a political party, it does not exist. The SPLM, SPLA has kind of disappeared into something called South Sudan People Defense Forces. So that body called the SPLM, SPLA Liberation Movement has really disappeared in that. And as a result, some of these, the crises which had never been able to resolve, have really spilled into the society. As I said, the fighting with the Anyanya 2 in 1983-84 was not resolved correctly, even when the Anyanya 2 came back in 1988 in order to reunite with the SPLM. The reasons for the fighting and the contradictions that existed were not resolved. The SPLM never benefited from this. In order to improve its structure and the way it organized it, it did not. And this resulted in 91. It resulted again in what happened in 2004 in Yale. Again, it resulted in 2013 in Juba and 2016. And maybe even in future, we don't know what is going to happen because we have not benefited, we have not resolved the real causes of the people. And that is the question of structuring power. Structuring power in the SPLM. The SPLM public and power and authority was not institutionalized. It did not become an institution. It was something personal. And that is how the GM Council came in. I want to correct ALDO. Because you people, many of you were not members of the SPLM. You wanted to fit in order to be able to take power. And if you,
the voice.
What happened?
Professor, we can't hear you. Is there any problem with your signal?
maybe the, yes, I'm in Juba.
Oh, it's clear.
I'm in,
Continue. It's clear right now.
yeah, I'm in Juba, and of course I have a problem with the connectivity here. It is this small thing called router.
No,
Anyway, so this
Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Akilo, I have a question for you.
So this is how.
We can close the room and open the new room because the recorder is off.
No, it's okay. Let it
Let
go.
it finish.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Go ahead, Professor.
Yeah, so this is how this issue of organizing politics around ethnic lines came up because they found the SPLM so rigid and so difficult to penetrate. And the best way was to now organize around the leadership of Sulfur. First of all, it started as the Barrel Gazal elders, for your information, Aldo. And you know this. It was the Barrel Gazal elders who started this. This was around 2011, 2012. In 2013, it became the GM Council of Elders, where now the issue was that the power should remain in Warab and it should not even cross the Nile to the west, to the east. This was what it was. And instead of it being an Upper Nile versus Barkisat, it now had to turn into Inga versus Nuer. This is how it is. And God knows this. Reverend Joshua is the editor, the driver of this line of action. And Mohim, that I'm happy that you are saying that now you people have left it because it has become even a contradiction. Now the GM Council were demanding the removal of Riak and Sulfur, which became another contradiction within the So Miracle, I want to say that once the SPLM, the contradictions in the SPLM were not resolved in the correct way, that's why they split into and became tribal or ethnic in character, resulting in the kind of atrocities that occurred in '91, occurred again in 2013, and then so on. This is because people do not give themselves time to discuss, and this is typical most of the time with Binubin. You see that people don't. It is not in our culture, this thing of discussing issues and then debating and arriving at a consensus through this debate is nothing there. You see, and you will see, especially from the 70s, the institutions where people are, educational institutions where people would be debating and discussing issues along political lines, they were not. So they always resulted in violence. And you had the tribal fights in the schools, and it has become even worse now that even in the university, people are organizing as ethnic communities, as regional communities, and in fact, dropping the national, southern nationalism has become very weak in the minds of many of our people. And then you begin to wonder what was the reason that we fought and we had lost more than 3 million people in this war of national liberation since 1955. So really, the problem, yes, it was the SPLM, and it still remains now because the SPLM has never improved its method of operation. There is no democracy in it, and that is why it will continue to generate conflicts and contradictions. Somebody said I was in the government. No, I'm not. I resigned from the SPLM in 2014 as a result of what has happened, because since the democracy was stifled, there is no way you can contribute in the solution of this problem. And that's why I decided to, resign, and it was a published resignation. Was published, and many people, of course, they know about it. It was not something secret. Although I never got a reply, whether dismissing or accepting the resignation, I did not get that. Yes, as a result, I joined in July 2014. I joined the IO because my idea was that first to stop the war and then turn it into a revolution, into a national democratic revolution. You see, we didn't have to fight, you see, but we really wanted to organize the opposition along the lines of the national democratic revolution and transforming the fundamental problems of South Sudan. What are these fundamental problems? Fundamental problems which will always generate contradictions and difficulties among our people is the question of poverty. It's the question of ignorance, the question of superstition. Our country is not that poor as people say. We have potentialities in anything, minerals, in agriculture, and so on. But these are potential wealth. We need to transform them. We need to transform these potentialities into real economic assets for the benefit of our people. And it is in this, of course, that we're talking about the issue of national democratic revolution as a means to transform these potentialities into economic assets for the development, socio-economic development of our country. So, and in this, you really need unity of our people. You need unity, not organizing ourselves along ethnic lines or sectional lines. No, it will not work. It needs the unity and the efforts of everybody, so that we transform this reality in which our people are seen to be poor in a situation of huge potential wealth they have in their midst. So I will end here, and if there's any other question, I will be able to answer. But the problem is that
Please, can you allow me, guy, to ask a question? I have a question for him.
Who's that, please?
This is Benjamin Matter.
Okay, Benjamin, you want to hang on a
Please,
second?
you just came.
Yeah,
There's
you
a lot
just
of
came.
people waiting here.
Yeah, we will facilitate that. Let
Even
us go
though,
to the line.
even though a lot of people came and they don't have a question, and then I have to ask a question.
Yeah, if you don't mind, you want to wait because this room will run and schedule. So Dr. Aldo and Professor NYABA will be with us in this room. It is a coincidence, and we want to utilize that to our benefit as the young people and community of South Sudan, so we can benefit from them. And we don't want anyone. The last thing we want is for someone to disrupt this room, please, if you don't mind. We will give you a misaha or opportunity to ask your questions. They are here. They are available. You can leave whenever they decide. If you don't mind, bear with us. There is nothing else I can tell you. If you don't mind, please respect us, respect yourself, respect them, respect your country, respect your cause as well. Now, Professor NYABA, thank you very much. That was a very sincere input from you. And as I said, it is a privilege and honor again to share the podium with you. I read one of your books, and I hope God will give you more age so you can continue writing more books. Other results, although I want to give you a point of privilege and in 2 minutes to respond before we go to the next 5 or 2 or 3 questions. Mr. Aldo, activate your mic, please.
Yes. Thank you very much. And also, I say again, thank Professor Adok, because Adok always will say whatever he thinks is right. In fact, there was a forum for Barigzal elders, as he said it earlier on, before the 2013. But that one was actually taken over by Paul Malone, and Paul Malone actually held a conference, regional conference of Barigzal in Wow, without us. He did not invite us. And that was before anything happened. But still, the members like Mulan Ambrose, who was proposed to be the head of that group, that was just not really decided on those bases. But you are right to say that. The other area is the area you said the SPLM leaders who are quarrelsome and full of political anarchy left the vacuum, and that we occupied it as JCE. That is not true, because we were, all of us, those who were actually the spearhead of JCE were and are still members of Parliament, because we came by elections in 2010, by the way, and they are still members now of SPLM. We did not leave that one, but because of that claim by the leaders we know, we had to come out, because none of us is a member of political bureau or even recognized, as you have said. And that is how we came in. And what I can accept is that you people evacuated the national forum and the vacuum, truly, what the group is saying, they left the vacuum, because to move out we are telling the world to invade South Sudan and bring them back to govern South Sudan. And the vacuum was really left. Kir was left alone on the national level, and some of them, of course, you know the hierarchy. You are not a part of this hierarchy, the dominant hierarchy, number 1, number 2, number 3, which is still standing now. That one happened. We as if we occupied the vacuum, but the vacuum was not national. We were disputing the fact that these people are the people who caused war and they are the guilty people. No, we did it in the sense of being citizens of South Sudan. And South Sudan was in crisis. And the crisis was actually figure pointing one of the nationalities where we belong. And brought out without even thinking. But I think our move was basically emotional intelligence, by the way, to contribute and save our country and tell the world the truth about what has happened. Now, as you have said, that you are grateful, the JCE is moving away from the first place. You are right there. We are moving away because we want to support the revitalized agreement. And by the way, we are telling Saudi that if those who sign it do not want to commit to them to revitalize the agreement, why don't we emerge and take it over that? Because we have nothing. We have nothing. Our people are suffering. And with what Adwoga has said, don't cross us again, question to Adwoga and question to me. We are not actually enemies. We are saying something that has happened. It is not this, it is this. And that is where we are. But we may be saying one thing. We may be saying one thing, but we feel at the historical background and so on. And we can say this. What is true, what I want to Adwoga to come in, because I want him to continue contributing Adwoga. You see? And actually filling his place. Adwoga is a professor. And this Adwoga, at this stage now, Adwoga run a big institution like State Council. Adwoga can do it very well. Adwoga is a teacher. And to be bogged down like this now, he with anybody, you see, at the level of Shalom, it's preparable because Adwoga tells the truth. But with Shalom, the background of secrecy and defending themselves, know how they can do. Adwoga is not one of them. And what he has narrated on JC, how we came in, was not actually desperately to replace the leadership of SPLM, but to protect the independence, the flag and the government of South Sudan, which actually came by way of the decision of South Sudanese in referendum to exist, and also to see that those against the government, the independence of South Sudan, are based in Khartoum, and Khartoum is providing weapons. We see it as, we who are in Khartoum, see it as this one is another way of getting back South Sudan indirectly through our own people. And to say something about it, because the guns are coming from the same place, from Khartoum. As we have been actually fighting Khartoum, all our programs were coming through Egypt all the time. And now we are independent, our problems are coming again through Egypt and Sudan. Sudan is not, even now, cannot be our friend. He's not a friend of South Sudan. They still claim, and that is Khartoum. But where do we belong? The SPLM put it right. From the beginning, we were not with the SPLM. That we created New Sudan for all of us. But when we look at it and see the population of the black people and see the Nuba people who were actually the members, the people who created the civilization, the Kuit basis, were the Nubians, and they are truly our own people. And you can see Darfur, which was independent, and so on. And you can see Demat in Khartoum, where we are actually being dominated black people. And above all, 69% ourselves, we are subject. Yeah, no. See? But as you have said it, institutionalization of what we belong and what we wanted was not done. I agree with you. Ajama'ana, let me back down from actually confronting Adwok and myself. And all this we are saying is in the event of war that has happened. And things, you see, went parallel with those who are fighting. Now, I don't want to say Nuer or Shala or any region in South Sudan because all of us were not involved. Adwok has put it rightly, it is SPLM, and it is not SPLM philosophy. It is the members who became a government in 2005, you see, to 2013. That is a problem, and there is still a problem. And if we don't actually address the issues, they don't answer, they don't hold rallies, as I said, they don't talk with people. They take people as enemies and they are liberators. For how long will they keep this title, liberators? How long? Because if the people of South Sudan are not actually liberated to enjoy the freedom of what was brought, then what is the meaning? You see, they are saying something they will not be left to continue with that. This is what I have to say, and I say to my brother Doc that we may be one opinion. If we get South Sudanese together, Doc is president and myself, I think we will have one side with the Doc because our intention is to solve the problem and make the country for everybody. Have a constitution for all of us, lively, and then we have freedoms before we do anything. I think we can toe one side. But the only thing that divides us, and it is not now, I don't see it, is the fact that you actually evacuate the game from the national level. No, they are not going to accept that. It's not because we want to dominate South Sudanese. No. That is not the way. The best way is to get elections. And you know, with South Sudanese, anybody can come tomorrow, by the way. See? And you will be surprised in our election to see that somebody far there in your generation will be president because none of us have ever dominated human beings. Never. We are people who have lived together and we have never dominated one another, even contribution in slavery. No, we have never. And you know, Adwok and all of us, the only government that live and is still living and chased down from pushed is the Shala Kingdom. It may be followed by the Nuba Mountain Kingdom and the Zande, the only. But all of us, were we any government? But what did they do? They kept into traditions until the British came, where we actually smelled a healthy air of life when they came and removed slavery and removed the Arabs and all this from South Sudan. So let me say to Clinton and Natilio that relax our confrontation. We have not come for that. We actually came in differently by appreciating what Clifton has brought. We are the solution to our problems. This is what brought us. But we have these problems. And what our own contribution during the war, I mean, it has to be said. Because I'm capable of answering what JC was about and what JC is for what now, see? And what JC can be if there is then more crisis, which I don't want this crisis to come back again. But let us actually be very clear that our nationalities never do not have war. Now, see where people are fighting. Not today is Padang in form of Ngog and Pitch of the same area. That one fighting at their borders now. And you have seen what happened in Lakes and what happened in Point and what may happen continuously in Jonglei. Jonglei is not friendly. You find some people complaining in Jonglei and making the same mistakes. And they don't want to come together. Because all of us have had ethnic fightings and they resolve them. When you see Jonglei, is not, their problem are not resolved socially. They fight in and there. Now, Akobo is fighting itself. See, the Denka are there with Morley and Morley versus Nuer, with exception of the law. See, they are NYABA. They are very good fighters, but they are watching them. They are in Jonglei. And you don't hear them. So, with all that we are saying at the top here, down the line, there is a commotion of people fighting themselves, family against family, group of section against one another, and the whole commotion is covering the whole South Sudan. These clouds, how shall it ease out of the national umbrella? How do we do it? We do it by accepting whatever mistakes we have made and try to correct it, because it is always good to identify a mistake, and when you correct it, that correction continues forever. And that's what we need now. Let us accept the mistakes. But I hope, will these people accept their mistakes? They have now refused to reconcile and refused to forgive one another. And then some young people are looking to become generals in the army, and they are moving left and right, claiming I belong to this, I'm going to this, I'm going to this. And they are not talking about their country. They want to have the stars there. See, there is a right for military leadership, and there is a right for political leadership, without following of the people of South Sudan. This forum now is not following a specific leader. They are following South Sudan, how to be or not to be. All of them. They are really fair. And the same thing on the ground. Let us be with them. Let us strengthen this forum, and let us invite all our regions. I recognize our three regions because they were created by people, by British, but they have imposed our basic identity. And we call ourselves like that, which is, we can ease the national identity if we get to identify like that. It is not a mistake. For those who call themselves Equatorians, don't talk about separation. Call yourself an Equatorian, and I call myself Mumbar. Why not? These are the three legs we have been accustomed to. Because before the British 1899, we never had this region. But regionalism is good because it is a shortcut to nationalism, by the way. أنا بشكر أدوب وبعدين
Hello, Rolando, are you there?
I think he has a phone call.
Oh, okay, problem. Okay, so we will continue again.
I think he's back. He's back.
Thank you, network.
Back.
Let's just wait for him 1 minute, please.
His mic is sound off. Rolando, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm around.
Yeah.
Hello?
Aldo.
Aldo is a telephone call.
Okay, no problem. Both of you. And
Yes.
it is quite honorable.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for both of you be with us. Rolando, yes, your phone, I think, if you want to finish your thought, and unless you want to wait for other questions, do you have something to add to finish your thoughts?
Now I conclude like this. Let us help. Let us help. Let us help
Signal. The signal here.
Let us help to build this forum, and let it be a forum seeking solution to our problems, or problems now, like this agenda, and let us be focusing.
It's interrupted by another phone call.
Yeah.
Anyway.
After resigning from SPLM, please get together with let us actually come back to people and give what we have in experience and what we have learned, see, to help them. They are the emerging generation, whether we like. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Aldo. Before I move the mic to the rest of the moderating team, Rebecca and Clinton and Brother Niakols and Jan downstairs here, we have about 6 questions before we close our room. I just want to recap and build on what you said, brother. Uncle and Dr. Aldo. And this is to Dr. NYABA. When I was in school, I came across this معهد الدراسات السودانية. This research institute في مصر بتاع الاستعمار. عنوان جمال عبد الناصر came in Kenya معهد الدراسات الأفريقية African research في كان في الزمالك مصر. Those who came from Egypt. And this is where Egypt became dominant in Africa. Why did I say that? Because Aldo referred to you as educator, muallim, and professor, and dictator. It is something that South Sudanese should account on. See, probably maybe today or tonight, in my time, it could be the beginning. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow, somewhere else. What I want to say is that Professor NYABA and Dr. ALDO, South Sudanese intellectual community, South Sudanese intelligence, are fragile. We don't know who we are. We are Dinka, we are Shiluk, we are Nuer, we are 64 nation of South Sudan. What we have in common is we just come and vote to secede South Sudan from Sudan. What else after that? We don't know. But to be honest with you, as a coincidence to have you in this room, Dr. ALDO and Professor NYABA, I want this to be the beginning of our unity. And I can see that. It is very promising. The way Dr. ALDO referred to you and describing my uncle, Professor NYABA, this is the beginning. Let's try this. It's going to work. Something is telling me it's not the case right now. Let us finish the room and we will continue. The fact that you and Dr. ALDO are up this time and they have account in the clubhouse is a message that for any South Sudanese, regardless of your tribes, your regions, to question yourself. Our community in clubhouse, in a social media, in a Facebook, and other social media outlets is polarized, is misled, and confused. And someone like you, and ALDO, you to be with us, it is something that we cannot gamble with. There is young, intelligent people down here have questions like Walmart and Press who are counting on you, especially ALDO and AJOU. Please, living the rest of your life, you guys are old and educated, but Professor and Doctor. You are my political mentor. I have to admit that right now. Give us a chance. Please let us inherit what you have. Professor NYABA, I know you very well. You will never be greedy. Because knowledge is power. And we have to pass it to the next generations, regardless if they are Shiluk or Nuer or Dinka. I'm here to acquire that knowledge we have. And I will challenge you. I'm here as a material. You are my power of knowledge mentor right now. I will challenge myself and I want to challenge you. Clinton, you want to add perspective before we move to the next question, please?
Yes, I have a question, a very short question and brief. Asking you, even from the beginning when I opened this room,
No, Clinton.
platform, I didn't believe that I would have such a uncles or grandfathers like you. But I want to we are divided, we are scattered, we are divided into tribes, regions, and everything. And the most painful case is we are now turning ourselves guns and killing ourselves. How could we end that war, that killing? That is one. Let's take an example, like the war that took place 2 days ago. I will ask you, grandfather Dr. ALDO AJOU and grandfather Peter NYABA, what are your roles to end up these ceasefires? between Twitch and ABA, people fighting for the sake of the land, of a net, and so on. So this is my question I want to raise. Besides that, because here,
hello, Isaac.
The victims of the war right now, as I'm speaking with you, I'm already out of the country. I'm in the worst country that you do hear about. I'm in Libya. So, and what I'm looking for is stability in my country in order to come back. And all of us, majority of us are out of the country.
Hello,
So, and we need stability.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, yeah, it's very interesting. We have 147.
Very interesting and very heaty topic.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is my question I want to ask you.
Thank you, Senator. The reason why I was asking you because you are the one who opened the room and with the green, I thought you are going to facilitate because we have people downstairs here having questions. But your question is good. We have a recent crisis in Twitch area. This is a question from Clinton for both of you, Dr. ALDO and Professor NYABA. There is a conflict between the areas, communities of Twitch and VA people in area called NET. You guys can elaborate on that later on, but we can move the lines because there are people here without the greens. I would like to give Brother Walmore Anyar a minute to ask his questions, and then we'll be followed by Brother Clemens.
That is not fair. I came before.
You will come very much.
No. I came before. That is not fair.
Can I say something?
Attilo, please, we are moderating together. Let's not try to make this up.
Attila, you are talking too much. Okay, you need to respect people as well. Okay, you need to respect people. Okay.
Mute all your mics. Okay. Excuse me. Mute all your mics.
Let's go back.
Give me a chance.
Let's go back the way we came in. Whoever came first.
This is the problem for Sudanese. They like to talk too much. Everybody wants to talk.
Later, after everybody done here, instead of wasting time, and let's go by the order how the people came up. So Ms. Queen should be the number one. Ms. Grace should be the one. She was the one came before one more. Yeah, please let's go by the order.
I need to wait first before Ms. Queen. If you can go
you have a green, he's a moderator. That's why I skip him.
Yeah, see, that's the problem here. Because we were asking if you guys have something to say. You guys going quiet.
No, actually, when our elders talking, we should listen to benefit. We should listen to our elders to benefit. As youth, we should always listen to elders and benefit. Whether you like it or you disagree, we should listen carefully and benefit because, believe me or not, what they are saying and what they are raising right here is the solution, is what we can take a lot of beneficial things that we could implement to achieve our topic. I won't take long. I will just express my appreciation to face Dr. AJOU.
So Isaac,
Professor.
Yes.
Anong link, there is a link that Kojin link kung ano di karen club at Kojin bong duli. Loy click.
By them.
Loy click below play. We share on the screen.
Into us or into
Kubakan tiyo. So can the blue play in your on your computer? We click blue play.
Very far across Europe.
Okay. Let me just try. Okay.
Try. Yeah, try first.
North Africa. I actually just want to put it that we started the steps, positive steps, by having our elders, Dr. AJOU and Professor, I'm really benefiting. Yeah.
Guys, for those of you who are watching, so we are not able to
say that please listen
to give your question to the
to learn.
Clubhouse, so we would like you just listen to what they are talking. So this is just a breaking news, so it's good.
Can I come in?
Okay.
You have a green. Continue.
Yeah, welcome in the room. Doctor. Welcome, doctor. Welcome, come in.
On the question that is actually generated because of BA and Twitch, we as Africans, we live together by always having a boundary between us, whether we are farming or we are housing. This is a tradition, but we don't own it. It is international that this is my place, this is yours. And this is a tradition of Africa, which actually get into even our own wild animals. They have zone to control. Now, the question we are asking about today is about the boundary and land. The other conflict is Sholo and Denka, and is land and boundary. Other areas like Morley, Denka, and Nuer, the Morley issue of getting children of others is also can be addressed nationally. And what I want to say here, the rest of the conflicts in other areas like in Rumbek or Tony, they are not actually based on something that can be solved. Even between Nuer and Denka at the touch is how I graze my cows and also how I water them, and also by rustling to take away illegally animals of another person. These are always living with us. We cannot say they are a problem of all time. They are a problem of seasonal problems of water and grazing. To be specific, we need to resolve the conflict between people if they are claiming boundaries and land by getting together and by actually bringing the two parties. And government has to intervene to stop them not continue to fight, because that fight can go outside the category of the conflict. Because you have seen the Sholo and Denka conflict in Malakal actually got birth to Ulony. And Ulony, you have seen there's something to do with land, by the way. But we are not addressing it closely. We have to get in with the government together and get the two parties negotiate, see where the conflict is. We want to leave it like that. And these are the things the government should go in, not small thing. The seasonal thing are something to do with nomads and people who keep animals everywhere in the world. The nomads and those who keep animals are the same character, because they move around searching for good grazing and water, because they are nomads. And I propose that the government actually intervene and then recognize the parties into that conflict, into that area, and come in, because the Nilotics, they know their boundaries, by the way. And we know our boundaries even with Sudan. Sudan is only dishonest. And they can now pinpoint the areas 2 and 1 and so on among themselves. And this is how our borders, the conflict of lands are solved traditionally. And our government has to get into our traditional laws and solve them at that level as people. And if we don't do that, we will not be able to really contain this one, because it is a tradition, it is people fight, and at the end they reconcile. This is so. I'm identifying 2 problems. The one now with the VA and Twitch, and the one of Upper Nile, Sholo and Denka. We have to solve them. If the government agreed with us, they have to intervene there and bring all the parties, and we can attend as people who would actually try to get the cause correctly and contribute a just solution. They need just solution, and they will be reconciled. They will not be the same like politicians. This is what I propose. And for Jonglei area, Nuer versus Denka, Denka versus Nuer, Morley there. This one is not specifically a conflict. Sometimes you get them involved in politics, and sometimes you get all that. But the only crime.
Yeah, that's Dr. Aldo AJOU is speaking, guys.
To the Morley. Morley want to take children of other people, you see, and make them their own, I think, to convert them. And this is not always in Africa. And I'm Arab. They'll jab them away. Please say that. It has to end. And it is a criminal thing, by the way. The government, which the government can handle. It cannot become a problem of war going around. No. It's a criminal. It is the government have to handle. And that the crisis in Equatoria, cows are moving around and aggressively destroying crops and so on, is also a case of law. What about the governors in the area? That person moving around with cows and destroying crops and all this is an individual with his or her own cows. They have to be arrested all. And you know, in Denka area, if your cattle goes into a farm of a neighbor or somebody out there, the cattle and the person looking after them are arrested. And the person whose crop has been destroyed is compensated in Denka area. Why is the Equatorial not applying the law and charging inclusively the jail? That is wrong. Somebody, an individual is committing a crime and is a South Sudanese. And the law of South Sudanese is everywhere in the land of South Sudan. Everywhere. And can be applied even on a foreigner. So that is my answer to what is happening in between peace now and the Ngok over there. This is what I see, and it's the same thing, which is contentious, which is led by Ulony. Ulony actually signed a law, his own case, which can be clear. That's what I want to say. But for those who are fighting for no reason and they are following politicians, I have no answer for them. They have to get at the top of their politicians they support and try to do that because the problem of fighting in some areas of South Sudan cannot be understood easily. What is it? Is it being sponsored by politicians? Because a lot of guns, you have seen now, guns collected, is abnormal. For natives who have such guns, see, including artillery, where international war can be fought, very, very difficult. Maybe are the one with their own guns. See? And you know, in their houses, maybe ALDO and AJOU and others whom I know, we have no guns in our houses. Under our pillows, we have never seen these guns. But they are all carrying weapons. Isn't it? That's what I can. It is a good question. We have to identify the problems like that, solvable problems of contentious issues which are clear, like claim of land and counter claim of land to be solved. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much
If I could,
for your answer. But I just want to add something I want to interject before we proceed. You know, this issue that in Warab State or in Warab State or in Abyei district area, and actually I am very, very, very careful when it comes to this issue. First of all, as Nyakon Mayom, I want to pay my condolences to the families from both sides that actually they have lost life. And also, the reason why I ask this, because the word generalization always is what is killing us in South Sudan. People put it as Twitch versus ABA, and this is not true at all. Because there are some people from ABA can be the solution of this problem. There are people from Twitch area can be the solution of this problem. Because we know when a problem happens, even in our culture, we are clans, we are families. This problem could have been just only maybe a little family from Ngok and little family from Twitch. Because sometimes the way even we call it, this is Twitch versus ABA, this is actually totally wrong. It's a very instigating statements, and I have seen people on social media, they went, some people took side. I don't like this because Yajamana, Ngok community and Twitch community, they are one family, one blood. Just like a problem between a husband and the wife or the siblings, if I can put it right. Please let us be a South Sudanese and be careful and at least Yajamana look into the feelings of the families. And the problem is not resolved yet. And I have seen it, and I was keeping quiet because actually it was very sensitive to me. If I hear some people are saying, you can defend yourself. Yajimana, this is very instigating, and I don't like it. You cannot take side when one family, Yajimana has a solution. Let us have a problem. Let us take it, Yajimana, carefully, with a very careful words, without generalization. I've seen people, they politicize this. I've seen it. Unazakulum, Yadenas and rebels that are in a position.
Miakon, please. It was Dr. Peter Adwok. John, please. Let him go. Just stop from there. We are going out of topic.
No, what is that?
Uncle Adwok, go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Have agreed, and we have agreed. So you have perfection at least. Let me have a finish and then give a chance. What is arrogant?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let me just clarify.
Excuse me, ya jamaa, dagiga kida. Nistazimkum ya jamaa, dagiga. Malesh bas ya jamaa. Let me control the room, okay? أي زول عنده كلام ده يقوله خلينا أول براء كلنا نلقى فرص وكل أي زول هيتكلم. Everybody can talk, okay?
Please, shukran.
So Uncle Peter Adwog did not answer, and this was not a personal question, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Because Maunina, we are in different places. for different time in either. And now it's almost going to 10 o'clock here in Juba. And then there are other things coming up, you know. So please, if you don't mind, let me just put in a point because I'm being called somewhere. And just to answer what is happening now in the area between Abia and Pretoria. It's a very unfortunate thing. And as Aldo has said, it is unfortunate that this thing has reached the level of physical confrontation in which lives were lost. And a few days ago, we witnessed correspondences between the commissioners
long time. I will join you soon, guys. I'm around here. I'm doing something behind the scene here.
That things that
okay, let us listening in.
To the level of physical and confrontation, it is really, which shows that there is a breach of security, which threatens even the national security. And here it's what I would call the weakness, some failure at a certain level of the state, which should have interfered and control this situation. Because as we know that the power of the state as the only monopoly of force has now been completely erased in Southern Sudan. That people have, even the civilians have their weapons, they have arm themselves even to be stronger than the organized forces and the police. This is really terrible, and it has to be corrected. But what I want to say is that, regarding Aldo said, there's been a problem between the Shuluk and the Dinka. Let us be clear. Even this claim, which has now become a kind of thing, is partly something manufactured by the administration of South Sudan from 2005. Because honestly, a case was there before during the southern region, and that case was settled. But because the claim still persisted, and it came up, and again it came up in 2000 when we were in the war, and resolved. Because then President said no, this thing has no basis at all, and it resulted in the formation of the 4 counties of the Shuluk area. So Murphy, there is nothing really what you can call as a historically or even now as conflict between the Shuluk and the Dinka, whether a Mong or a Oweng or Luet, or we never had this kind of, not even over the question of land. We were peaceful neighbors until the state interfered in 2009. You see, to create something called Fiji County in the Shuluk area, and this is the source of the problem. So it's something which is created by the state, and this is what forced Olang to take up arms. Now they have agreed with the SPLA with the SPLM, that is good. Let them resolve that problem, and that's why you will see. And even when the crisis came in Malakal and so on, most of these people were fighting in 2014, and they took refuge in the Shuluk area. There is no problem. And I've taken, let us see where the failure of the state is. You see, and rather than really creating a kind of a problem between our people, because our people in their villages, they have no problem with themselves. The problems have always been the elite. The elite is struggling for power, and therefore go back to their communities in order to be able to get the kind of representation say that they now can be at the state level. This is the crisis in Jungla is also the crisis of resources, resource around water and pasture. And the way our government failed to manage these things which the colonial used to handle very simply before. Why were these things? Why were they not there before? Why is it that they are now the question of pasture, struggling over pastures, over water points, becoming a problem, becoming a political problem now, when it was not there before? So it is really a failure as the people who should be resolving this problem. And with this, I would want to end here and thank everybody for this opportunity. It was good when I peeped into this room. I actually passed through two other rooms where I didn't quite agree with it because there was too much, divisions being. People are talking about terrible issues that decided. So when I came here and read this thing that solution to our problem, I thought this was the right way of handling it, and let us keep up this thing. But as I said before, let us have the correct understanding of the issues to enable us to this problem. I want to thank you very much, and good day for all of you. God bless you all. Bye.
Well, anyway, Clinton, are you there? Yes, I tried to communicate with you through back channel because there is good opportunity to have Dr. ALDO and Professor Adwok. But within us, there is a foul play. But it's okay. The good thing we have Dr. ALDO.
Okay.
We can conclude. It's unfortunate that Adwok NYABA decided to just leave. Despite that, some question downstairs here was actually meant him to.
It's interesting. So, Dr. NYABA is Peter NYABA is leaving. So, a lot of people there have a lot of questions to ask. We have like 166 people who are.
Okay, we have.
So, I don't know how are they gonna
down here, Kalaman. So
do it.
We need to listen from him too. Kalaman.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Pelton, and all moderators. Thank you, Dr. Aldo. Thank you, Professor Peter. So I have a question in terms of corruption. Our beloved country is one of the most corrupted countries in the world. So I don't know if people, what is your advice for us or for the people of South Sudan to fight, how to deal with that corruption so that we can at least clean image of our country. And then number two, short two, exactly I want to know when JC was formed. If it is 1971 or before that or after that. Once again, thank all of you. And I'll raise my case here. So bye.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you have asked your question, but we lost. But I don't know. Our elder has gone. Professor Peter Adwok, but also too we still have our elder Dr. ALDO AJOU, so he can answer you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Now with the Clement, I think you were here when I talk about JCE. The same question, similar question came up, and I clearly say what prompted those people to form JCE Why? And I don't want to go back to that if you were here. For corruption, what is happening in South Sudan is operation
Okay,
in absence
Isaac.
of law.
Yes,
Isaac.
Law
I'm about to
is
excuse myself on an important phone call.
being exploited by individuals in the government and even in the market, by the way.
Can you log into the Clubhouse and connect your phone with them? Because there's somebody want to meet me in Clubhouse.
Be a part of the package
in private room.
In
of
private,
how to settle the crisis. Because the corruption is not going away in the absence of accountability and legal measures. You know there is Auditor General in still in the office. The Auditor General has no interest into finding and determining what this corruption has gone and who is who in the corruption. No pin down, because in so many countries it is the auditing internal or national auditors that actually follow the budget, how the budget is being implemented and the expenses, how it is being spent, and also the law that governs the taxation itself.
Then the Miss actually pin down.
Got to account and to strictly getting taxes correctly and rightly in the same direction. We agree with those who say we have got a lot of, we are rich, we are rich, by the way. Money that can actually promote and support the essential institutions such as education, health, and food production for our people to have basic security. But these are not happening. And you know, I'm one of the people who, in my writings, I don't talk about corruption in South Sudan because it is outside the law itself. We have not made the fundamental.
Then come and check your inbox.
And other laws that govern the revenue and expenditure. Mind you, so now we are actually in the air and fragile country, because we came in as independent and then borrowed a lot of things from Khartoum. We don't go down on the ground with us, including the constitution. We just took everything, including the 10 states. We are struggling to say 10 or 20 and so on. It is unfortunate. These are the things contained now in a revitalized agreement, and we want the politicians to implement them. And also, at least, getting the right, correct legislation to stop corruption. Although corruption is sneaky all over the world, and you cannot say any country or the United States with a lot of money, there is corruption. And that depends on individuals, and sneak way of getting money is everywhere when they become rich. And this one is almost not settled. Now, say we actually want to punish people who have and can the leadership of SPLM get out really if we really want to implement and say that no, that can strictly get to pinpoint somebody. Let us take the whole crisis as together. And if we have to be implementing it, I think we can rid ourselves of corruption. Before that, it was Khartoum. We were not there. And then let us refrain from charging a group. Say, somebody would say it is the corrupt are Denka. Denka is corrupt. All like, no. The individuals are committing crimes against the state. And we have to undergo like that, not really say, or people out there, they are really starving to death. So don't continue asking this question of corruption. If you are asking question of corruption because you identified with JC, my friend, some of us are not accessible to the wealth of South Sudan.
Yeah, Wako, yeah, it's
most of us.
Okay, so what we can do, then I know you host. In Clubhouse, we can analyze about the topic you guys are discussing.
And take note of corruption.
So Moses McCare and Moses and Isaac, so you can come up. I had to go, so there's a meeting that I'm going to attend. So Isaac, you can go ahead and take care of the show. You guys can go ahead and analyze this. So I'm going to turn it off the Clubhouse, and you guys go ahead with the show. Okay?
Even what they do.
All right. Yeah, okay. But before you go, just let our viewers in know that I have a difficulty. My device is here to connect with Clubhouse here, such that we can let them continuing hearing and answering the question. And those who have questions here in the StreamYard, their question also need to be referred if there is a connection there. So I'm still just checking out. I don't know what is happening with my devices today. One of the moderators on the other side can give us a chance to read out the questions of the here to them. But how does it sound?
We do this, we mislead our people.
Yeah,
Yes,
there is. I think
conflict
a lot of. Yeah, go ahead. So you guys can go ahead.
Yes. Yes, I am one of the moderators in the Clubhouse room here, and you know our people, they don't have that enough patience. So sometimes we try to control it in the way that we can have much understanding. And if you have a way to connect, yes, I know Madid is familiar connecting it. My device here, I don't know if it can be low enough because it's late night.
Hey, let me just cut you short. There's something reading in my device here that the show is no longer there. Is that correct, or I'm being blocked wrongly, or what is happening? I cannot get in. We are the solution to our problem.
The show is there. So, what is your
show is
name on? What's your name on
Isaac.
Clubhouse?
Yeah, my name is Isaac Paul. Isaac Peter.
Yes, even people are still asking a question. So let me try to go.
Isaac King, I cannot get in. I cannot get you. When I try to click in, it says that the show is no longer there. I don't know what went wrong here.
Okay, let me find your name down here if I can fill you in. But you are not following me. Can you find Denkamis on your device? there, so you can just say you can follow me, and then
can
from
you guys
there we
hear
can.
it? Isaac, can you guys hear the sound?
No, we cannot. We can't hear that
No.
sound. It's very poor. Readability is not good. Let me just find the Kamis here.
What is exactly going on? I've been dying to ask this question, and I know some people may not like it, but you know what? I just want for you to answer my question. Thank you.
My answer.
Yes, I got you, then Kamis.
Okay, let me check if I can be able to follow you back and that connection, if we can be able to get it done. There's a lot of people here on Clubhouse listening to that speech of Dr. NYABA and Dr. AJOU. But there's a lot of interruption here. We try to stay organized, but our people have no patience most of the time. They just want to pop up and then given time and hear out their views. One there's some people that have been here for 10 hours. That's what we are facing here. Yeah. Okay. So are you not watching? Are you not listening to the response of Dr. AJOU?
No, I'm not.
What about Makir? Makir, are you on Clubhouse as well?
Yes, but
are
we are not hearing anything, Denka Miss Garam, from the Clubhouse.
Wow.
I think the problem there is we are joining two platforms, the platform of Clubhouse and the platform of Facebook, and it is proving to be very difficult.
Yeah. So you guys doing Madita's been doing a good job. You guys need to pick it up because a lot of people move to the Clubhouse and there's a lot of drama here and back and forth. So let me.
I think that I don't want to accuse anyone, but the government supporters are hiding behind Clubhouse. These are national issues. These are political issues that everybody wants to see them. And ask.
Yeah, there's a lot of high out here with the government supporters and the rebels. They are all hiding out here and causing too much drama. So it's not an easy place to deal with. It's not like not like your platform where you can mute somebody and they can wait for you, but here they can just pop up anytime and want to. Your show can be hijacked by somebody else and operating it and kick you out of it.
Juba Parliament, Clubhouse.
Yeah, I think it's not a Juba Parliament. I believe it's Pagak Parliament because Pagak you can just Moiro do, that's all. But Juba Parliament is a little organized. Okay.
Okay, let's try to them.
Queen, I want to tell you that we were not the cause and we don't want to
Is that audio coming from you?
Of South Sudanese who have not fought at all. Very innocent.
You guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear that one now.
Are pushing the case.
Maybe that's what I'm going to tell
why do we accept this thing? Let Let us get out of it. Let us not accept such a thing, because we do not, we have not fought. And the fighting going out there, we cannot do it. You see, because we don't represent them as a community. We actually are volunteers to answer something that is targeting the gen. And this is where we are. Now, we are not any longer in full swing like what we did during the war. We are actually calling for reconciliation of these politicians, specifically Riek and Salva Kiir. And some people say we want Salva as a JC and we have to step aside. We cannot do that. We differ in that. There are some who actually sneak in when we actually made our statement. Sneak in the Riek and Salva, step aside. Some of us do not see it. But the vision of the national dialogue was that we have nothing to do with that, because the prerogative is the prerogative of a given party. The SPLM will be the one to recommend their candidate in the next elections, whether this is Salva Kiir or another person. It is not anybody else. Or else, if there is a law of elections that somebody cannot contest because of X, Y issue, it will be dependent on the law of elections. And we have no one has the right to tell politicians that you step aside, like some politicians who would want to become politicians are not waiting for election, and they want to say Riek and Salva step aside and throw away the peace we have signed. We are not there like that. So our volunteer is that we came in at the odd time. That time was odd. We are not like that. So Clement, we are involved in the national dialogue. We produce.
I believe the room is being removed accidentally by somebody, and this is the bad thing about Clubhouse. When you bring in some people that just want to play their own interests, they want to be on top, even though they are not part of the program. They will come and hijack the room and close the room down. So that's what happened now. The room is being shut down by.
Exactly. That's what I noticed. There is some technical background gameplay here, and I've been trying a lot in different devices, and even myself seem like being blocked or somebody's holding my account back. I cannot penetrate it or get into it. All right. So, but it will be very. It's not good. If we just cut it short that way, we're supposed to hear or listen to them. After that, we could make good analysis. Okay. So we can make an analysis based to what we are hearing or what we have heard, all of us. But if it is in and out cutting, the analysis won't be going right full way. So I think we can kick off from here. We'll be basing to what you have heard and what you want to share with the public as an opinion. And these things is one of the things that will not allow we as a South Sudanese to prosper or to go ahead and share the things. Because if you are a supporter of the government or supporter of the oppositions, and if you didn't have a chance to air out what you have, then you just try to make noise or you do things like what is happening now, which is not good at all. First of all, I would like to welcome my brother Henry McQuincor and my brother Moses Makirkanjuk and Yudeng Kamis as well. Welcome to South Sudanese Eagle Media. It's also part of the Lake State Media as well. We were sharing this such that all our viewers and the followers in the different platforms can have access of the news. So thank you for your messages, Henry. I got your messages here, and I was busy trying to locate how we can tackle these things. Can I start with the first who came first, Moses Makirkanjuk? Moses, unmute yourself and greet the audience.
I would like to give Moses a head up about our topic that we was actually discussing in Clubhouse. If you don't mind, brother Moses.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
That will be great. Yeah, sorry, you were one of the moderators, so you are the one who could control these things and give us a rightful track how these two giants came into Clubhouse, Dr. ALDO AJOU and Dr. NYABA. Even if Dr. Peter has left, then you are the one who will give us a light ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ben Denka Miss Garang. Go ahead. Isaac is right. Thank you. I will listen.
Okay, thank you, Isaac, and my brother Moses Makir and Ellery Malwan. Yes, we've been there for a couple of hours. That room, we had an incident happened back in South Sudan between the two communities that became a drama in Clubhouse. It took us some hours try to settle, to bring it down from those communities, but there are some people that are out there inciting it. Afterward, this was one of my young guy who live actually in Libya, and his name Clinton on in Clubhouse. He came up with that idea. Why can't we just open up a room and we to engage this drama? Maybe some people will join us and forget about inciting the violence that is actually taking place between Twitch and people of PA. That's how we came up with the room, and the topic was we can solve our problem as a South Sudanese. We can solve our problem by our own without somebody else. That was the topic that we discussed. We can solve our own problem without inviting somebody else. That was our topic, and we were there in my time here in Arizona. It was around 3 p.m. We were there by ourselves. Like sometime it goes down to 5, 6, and we maintain it. And accidentally, um, Uncle Dr. Ando Joe came there, and he heard that we were talking about how we can move forward as a South Sudanese instead of inciting violence every now and then. And he requested that I want to share with you. That's what he did. He requested us to bring him up so he can share with us. And what happened? There's a notification that telling you that if you are following somebody, it will be telling you that Mr. Denkamis is speaking somewhere in this room. So the people pick up from there. They came up, see him talking there. They came up and from there, I think that's where uh, our uncle, Professor Peter Adwognyaba, got a notification that Dr. Andrew Ajo is talking somewhere, and he popped up. When he came there, we invited him up there, and their number rise up to 200 people listening down. And from there, they come and Gadwok Nyaba has a direct question to Dr. Ando Joe. And from there, that's where we went through, and they were very nice to accept any question from the citizen without hesitation. So that was our topic, how that we can fix our own problem instead of looking outsiders. That was the main discussion. So it was nice for them to finish, but something happened there. I was one of moderators, and some of moderators that were not there during our discussion. Some people came and joined us, try to moderate when, because interest of our South Sudanese, when the number is going up, people will start having interest. Now you are in a studio here in our Lake State studio. If that is not what people want, they will be watching like 5, 10, 20. But when the person of their interest show up, they will be going up to 200, 3. And that's what happened to us. And I believe that's how the room was closed down. The moderation, there's what is called a green button that you can invite people up when they want to speak. And that green button was actually passed through many people. And I heard some people complaining they want to ask a question and they have a green on their hand. Uh, my own I was sort of thinking that I believe somebody took matters to his own hand and shut down the room because he was not allowed to ask a question. I think that's what happened, and I'll rest my case from there. And based on what you guys heard from two of them, they are our respected elders. They are intellectual, by the way, and they are our fathers and they are our grandfathers because they are in their mid 80s. So it was nice for them to meet for the first time in that room because they have been talking in different rooms for quite some time in Clubhouse, and they never met. So those accusations from left and right were already there. They were aware of themselves because some when when one of them appeared in the room, they would be just throwing some uh, accusation like you hear the matter of Jiang Council of Elders. It become a issue in a clubhouse, and we try to restrain from discussing it every time. But some people of interest, they will never accept it. They will never get away from it, and that was the discussion. I heard a lot of people were actually interested to come to the discussion room so they can ask a question, but accidentally it happened. So go ahead. Thank you for giving me a time.
All right, thank you so much, Denkamis, for that elaboration. You put us on the right way, though all of us, even me, I just came late, as you mentioned it. Once somebody you are following is speaking in one of the rooms in Clubhouse, it will trigger up into your device and say that, yeah, Mr. X is now talking here. And when you follow, you maybe you cannot catch up whatever when this show was started being discussed. So it's good. Thank you. I will go to my brother direct Moses Makirkenjuk to weigh in his analysis, and also will be followed by Henry McQuincor If I pronounce your name correctly or wrongly, please forgive me. And also, we would like, as a South Sudanese, all of us would like to pass our condolences for those for the life we lost in the conflict of this topic. What is happening between Abiy and Twig Mayardit. That is the trigger of this show. Moses, the floor is yours. For that.
Ustaz Isaac Tiang, we have missed you, especially me. I haven't seen you for a very long time in the Leg State Media. I greet you and I greet the whole team of Leg State Media. I think we have been confused for the last 2 weeks between clubhouse houses and the Leg State Media as a platform that everybody knows is a platform that welcome everybody from South Sudan, and would have been great. Next time, it would be great next time for Leg State Media to host these two political giants here, and I would be happy to see you, Isaac, being the moderator, or Medit, or anyone in the Leg State, because it is weekend and most of the people have time to enjoy Leg State Media, and it has become one of the platform that is more reliable for political discussion and discussion on national issues in South Sudan. First of all, I would like to extend my condolences to the people in Abia and in Twij Mayadit and in Pariang, and anyone in South Sudan that has lost their relative. I extend my condolences to you. May God comfort you, and may God encourage you, and may God intervene in this problem that is developing and continuing in our country. It is sad news to hear any South Sudanese dying, whether he's killed by another South Sudanese or killed by our enemies. These people that we are losing in Bor, in Twitch, in Abia, in Pariang, these South Sudanese people will never come back. And this is a great loss for all of us, whether South Sudanese in diaspora or South Sudanese back home. So I extend my condolences to all the relatives and the families of the loved one that have just died in this random communal violence in South Sudan. Thank you, Isaac. Let me go back to the topic. Actually, the topic that I've seen was that we are the solution of our problems. It means we, the ordinary citizen like myself. It means the civil society. It means the political parties. It means the ruling government, the whole society with its institutions, and the country with its institutions are all including in the word we are the solution for the problem. I have listened to the debate between two political giants in South Sudan, especially Dr. Peter NYABA and Dr. ALDO AJOU. They have raised a lot of interesting issues or questions that need to be analyzed and need to be made clear, whether by them or others who are concerned about the national issues in the country. The motto of "We are the solution" first came from the African Union, and the African Union has the motto that African problems requires African solutions. So I guess that's where they got the concept of and the idea of the topic that we are the solution of our problems. It is not only in the context of South Sudan, but it is the motto of African Union that has been raised all over Africa, that African problems, whether political problems, economic problem, or social problems, they demand African solution. So in the same context, we can say that South Sudanese problems, they demand South Sudanese solutions in the first place. So this is the context, I think, that the two political giants were discussing the African problems, and it's an open discussion. And I would like to congratulate Dr. Peter NYABA for resigning from the SPLM party in 2014. And that is a courageous political stance. Now he's an independent thinker, he's an academician, and he has his place in South Sudan, and is highly respected. And it would have been good for our elders in Young Council of Elders to do the same, so like Dr. NYABA, to either form a political party or practice politics as academician or as individuals, independent politicians. I was coming with a few questions that I was about to ask the two political giants, but they are not here. And I've actually posted one of the questions to Peter, Dr. Peter NYABA, so that maybe next time I will also extend that question to him, which is what I see as a problem that is confusing South Sudanese, which is, do the elites in the SPLM, the ruling party, represent their tribes? So this question actually need discussion, need to be discussed, because until the people understand that President Kiir does not represent Dinka, or Dr. Riak does not represent Nuer, or Dr. Lama Kol does not represent Sholo, or any other.
Or Dr. Wani does not represent Equatorian.
Yes. And Dr. Wani Iga does not represent Equatoria, or Dr. Luka Byung does not represent Abia, or Dr. Lwala Chwek does not represent Twitch. Until the South Sudanese come to a clear understanding about the role of the elites and the role of being a citizen, and separating the parties from the society. So now everything is fused together. If a politician made a mistake, they will say, this is from this tribe. And when some people in this tribe have no idea how this person became a politician through presidential decree. So issues have been confused in South Sudan, and sarcasm, in Arabic, Bugulowa Sukriya, sarcasm. Some people are talking against other tribes, and that is not productive. It will never unite all South Sudanese to become the solution of their problem, Ustaz Isaac. If we want to be truly the solution of our problems in South Sudan, we need to stop sarcasm against any tribe. يعني ما نقلل من شان قبيلة، يعني ما نبقي قبيلة سكر في قبيلة تاني. And let's not generalize all Nuer are bad, all Dinka are bad, all Equatorians, Madi, Bari, or all Nuer. This will not make us to be the solution to our problems in South Sudan. What will make us to be the solution to our problems in South Sudan is to separate issues. For example, President Kiir is a political elite and is there as a member of a political party. So he does not represent Dinka tribe. So all his political mistake It is his problem and the problem of the party. It is not the blame of the tribe. So who should be blamed for all these political elites and military elites in South Sudan should be the same political elites, not their tribes. So this, my brother Henry and my brother Isaacs and Dane Kamis and those who are listening, has not been made clear in our discussions, whether in Clubhouse or in social media or in South Sudan TV. That's why I asked, I sent my question to Dr. NYABA and ALDO AJOU to answer this question. Do the political elites that are ruling the country, do they represent their tribes? Of course, no. They don't represent their tribes. They represent their political parties. And if you go to the composition of the government of South Sudan, which is the government, revitalized government of national unity, there is nothing mentioned there about Dinka or Nuer or Madi or Bari or all these tribes. Ustaz Isaacs are not mentioned in the peace agreement that is now being used by the SPLM as the legitimacy to rule the country. There is no mention of tribes. It is a mention of SPLM IG and SPLM IO and SOMA and other political parties. So that's what composed the government of South Sudan, the government of the day that we blame for their bad political practices. And this should be very clear to anyone in Clubhouse or in social media, that the political elites in the government do not represent.
I would like to cut you. I got an important information to share with you right now. I'm just minutes away. We are going to host Minister of Information or one of the highest officials from Warabi State in a few minutes to come in Lake State Media. So I will be needed in that live show in a very short moment. So just reserve some of your information and join us later in that press or the debate that will be coming up. Maybe the two giants or before has left in the other clubhouse will be here in Lake State Media. So just for your information and just go to conclusion and we hear from Henry McQuay.
Yeah, but I will hold on and I will exit. And thank you, Isaac. And I will just listen to Henry and then Kamis. Thank you.
Beautiful. Great. Thank you so much. Brother Henry, just unmute yourself. Good.
All right. I want to say it properly. I don't have proper position. Trying to charge my phone.
You are right there.
Yeah, you can see my names, as you said, Henry McQuay. Kur, I live in Australia. And I've been monitoring Lake State Media for quite a long time. And I begin to see it's bringing big minds to discuss issues about South Sudan, which is a very important thing because I'm interested in those. That's one thing. Second, I want to say thank you for allowing anybody to come in. I'm not a member. I just saw the link and I clicked it and got myself in.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me. I will not discuss a lot. I just say, as I heard, you will be off shortly.
Yep.
I will be a regular visitor in your media.
Shows. Yep.
And we will have few things to discuss. I'll be interested to listen than to talk.
Beautiful.
And then later on, put in my ideas. The only thing I would say is I'm a product of the SPLM, SPLA. joined the movement 1988 when I was even 9 years.
Wow.
Up to now, I am in my 40s. And
Yeah, your hair can say.
yes, and I got few insight about the SPLM, SPLA.
Okay.
And I don't know everything, but I know few things that I can hear out in the future and say, this is where we started, this is where we are, and this is where we need to go, based on my own opinion and understanding of the current situation. So I want to say thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Dane Kamis, and the rest, all the entire Lake State media. Unfortunately, I missed the two giants. I hope I will meet them next time, and other prominent politicians. Thank you so much.
You are highly welcome, Henry. I appreciate your warm words that you have said. That these are the true people we need to listen to and to interact with. This is the breaking news. The Minister of Information of Warab State is going to come up live shortly. We will be catching up in Lagos State media for all our audience and who are watching us right now. Just have a short break. And when the Lagos State media kick on, please just join us there. We will catch up. My brother Den Kamis, I know it's really, really very late, but due to the love of the country, your home and the people and the land, that's why you people, you are still awake at this time. So I will give you a floor to say some few words of closing, and then we will close this platform of South Sudan Eagle Media, and we will catch up in Lagos State media.
All right. Thank you, Isaac. Nice seeing you back again. I have been absent for quite some time. And my brother, Moses Makir, and Hillary Mukwe. So I'm not going to say anything more. I'll wait for the official, the government official, when they show up, then we will have some more discussion afterward, based on how they are handling the situation that is taking place over there. So this issue of the clubhouse is so dramatic and is always going to be there. It's not an thing to deal with. And by the way, we are always dealing with them here. Um, uh, Uncle Ando Joe and Peter Adwok, they are always here with us on Clubhouse, and also Pagana Mom and Lam Akon. They show up here on their time, if they have any interesting discussion they want to join. It's not easy. Some discussion you cannot see them and you cannot join. But you are doing a good job, my brother. Thank you. Thank you, Henry. We always, there's no way we can avoid our own problem. We have to face one another in order to find a common ground and the solution to our own uh, daily activities. Because if we don't get along, it's because of communication. If we have a lack of communication, as we usually do as a South Sudanese, yes, the problem are going to be there, and they will be developed in our
Yes.
mind day
Hey,
and
let me
night, day
just
and night.
bring
Thank
you
you.
up. I got the breaking news. The guy is here, and we are going to start in the other platform right short seconds away.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you want to close this, or
Yes,
are
I'm
you going to
closing this.
continue?
No,
Okay,
no,
go
I'm
ahead.
closing this. And yeah.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you. Go
guys,
ahead.
our
Close it up.
followers just follow us in Lagos State Media. We catch up there. We will be going live to listen to the state level government officials who will address us for the incident that has happened and what is going on in that area. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you all. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.